Alright guys, what's going on? So I'm starting off the video at HRT, that's a local shop that I work at. Today we're actually gonna get back on the chassis. As you guys know, I recently put the rear axle and kind of mocked everything up, put the four links together and stuff like that. In order to get the truck as low as I want it, because I'm gonna autocross the truck, a lot of you guys are asking me that, what I'm actually trying to do with it. I'm trying to make it a road racing, like autocross truck, so it's gotta be very low, but still be functional, but I'm not doing something like bags or anything. So we gotta step the frame up. So as you watched previously, I recently lowered my truck and I did a simple C-notch, and so I took a 5-inch pipe, cut it in half, and just put it in the frame. This time we're gonna bring the frame height up entirely. So the way we're gonna do that is we're actually gonna cut out plates and weld them directly to the frame. What we got going on over here is I went ahead and I actually sketched out a template. So pretty much this is like the top of the frame. I'll bring this up to the chassis and I'll show you guys later. So this is like the bottom of the frame. This is roughly the top of the frame. And then there's a bunch of dimensions, and I'll put the image up just so you guys can see it later if you're actually looking to do this. We did something very similar to this. So basically before, this is roughly where the axle is gonna sit. The axle tube is about 3 3/8 for the 8/8 roughly. But we're just gonna do like 3 1/2 all the way up. So previously on the old frame, I went ahead and I just took the pipe and put it in right here. This is the bottom of the frame and the top of the frame. There's a simple pipe. But I believe the axle is gonna start, or where my ride height's gonna be, the top of the axle is gonna be roughly where this line is. So if the C-notch only goes to here, it only gives me a few inches of travel. So we're gonna pull the whole frame up. And the way we did that was we cut this, pretty much this template is almost the same as this, but we went ahead and we put it on the computer and kind of sketched it out. So explain kind of what's going on for people that don't really understand what you're doing here on the plasma table.
Basically, we took his drawing, took all the dimensions off of it, and pretty much just copied it onto the computer and made it to the dimensions that he wanted to be able to drop his truck enough that he wanted to get at the right height. And then we just added some support out here to go onto the frame, so it's strong enough so it wasn't just frame to material. Basically now it's got some overlap in it, and then we're gonna add some pieces in here so we'll be able to weld this directly onto the frame right here in this area and make it stronger so it doesn't fall apart.
Yeah, so these little pieces you can notice are not on my little sketch. These are what you would typically see. So basically it'll be cut, the frame will be cut roughly like pretty much straight up and down like I had it, but this piece we're overlapping under the frame, so it's not a butt weld, it's a lap weld. It'll give it a little bit more structural support, and then we'll probably also end up doing a hole in here so we can weld directly to the frame. But we just cut out this one piece, so I can go ahead and take this directly up to my chassis, kind of mock it up. You can actually see that looks pretty much perfect in terms of dimensions, which is good. So I can take this piece and lay it up to the frame, see where it fits, and kind of go from there. I can raise it or lower it and see exactly what dimensions I need to put for these adder tabs, so we can kind of, you know, put little holes in it and all sorts of fancy designs and really just see where I want it. So yeah, as you can see, I just cut that out on the table, and I'll go ahead and insert the clips of when this thing was getting cut out, because it's pretty cool. So if you've never seen a plasma table work before, it's kind of interesting. Alright guys, so we've got the plate kind of cut out, so I'm going to go ahead and take this up to the chassis and kind of mock it up, see what changes we need to make. We're actually going to draw, that's a thing, we're going to draw that in here, put some holes in it like I said, and we're going to get this thing mocked up. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up to the frame and see what it looks like. Alright, here's our first initial test fit. As you can see, it's actually not bad. I was kind of worried these angles were going to be too intense, but they're actually not. You can see this one's right at the bottom of the frame. This one hangs down a little bit, which is fine. I can always cut it. But I think since we're here now, I'll be able to go and take some photos with some tape measures. I think what we'll do is we'll bring this down a little further, and then down we'll probably take a good 2 inches out of the top here. And then we'll probably take about 1 inch off the bottom, and that'll probably be good, because I don't think the step notch needs to be quite this high. Because we go back to my drawing, the bottom of the frame's right here. I believe the axle is gonna sit right about at this line. So in reality, if I really truly wanted it, and this was literally something I just trailered to shows and didn't ever drive it and didn't care to drive it, and I was one of those losers, I would actually just, you know, just put another C-notch in it, because then the axle would only need, you know, 3 inches to drive. Since I plan on beating the living crap out of my truck, as I always do, because that's what you're supposed to do when you drive an old car, is I'm gonna bring the frame up, but as you can see, there's only about, above the frame, there's probably 3 inches there. It's a lot more than 3 inches right over there. So we probably don't need quite that much material. So we're probably gonna shorten it just a hair. Because if you look at this, if I hold it up next to it, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So You can see that one's just a little bit taller. That's roughly at the bottom of the frame, so we got a couple inches to spare. So I'll probably make this thing a little bit shorter because it doesn't quite need to be that high because I'm not putting on bags. For all you guys that want me to bag my truck, I'm not bagging my truck. I'm sorry, guys. So I think I'm gonna take a couple inches out of this and I'll kind of mock it up again, kind of where I want the notch to sit. And I'll talk to you guys about that in just a second, but I do like how this looks. You can see just from there to here, it's gonna be pretty cool. So we're gonna have my logo in here and a bunch of holes, and I got a rivet right here, I realized, for this cross member. You can see it down there. There's a rivet, so we'll probably end up doing a hole right here so the plate can go on top of that rivet, and then we'll weld around it so it'll be super, super rigid. All right, so what I'm doing now is, I don't know how much you guys can see. I hope you guys can see some of this. The lighting's really bad in here. So I marked where the bottom of the frame is on both sides so we can cut that off because we're not gonna need it. And I slid the whole thing down, obviously, so this gap is now smaller. The gap between the notch and the frame is now exactly 3¼ inches. So that'll give me something to go off of later. So the gap in between the top of the frame and the bottom of the notch is 3¼ and from the bottom of the frame to the top of the notch is exactly 7½. So that's a good measurement. They're nice, even numbers. It's something I can go off of. It's something I can transfer to the other side very easy. And it seems like that's a good ride height. Because I have a good feeling the axle's probably gonna sit, you know, maybe right around here, maybe 1/3 of the way up the frame, probably at ride height. So if my axle's right here, let's just say, just roughly, the axle's gonna be just about 1/3 of the way up. That still gives me, you know, over 6 inches of travel for the axle travel. So that's still really good. So there you can see, and there's also a rivet right here like I showed earlier. I marked that out. Where I need to drill a hole to kind of clear that rivet, so we'll be able to put that there. Then this is a Teflon tape kind of cover thing, whatever you want to call these things. And so what I'll do with this is I'll actually put this on the frame like that, and I'll cut that hole out, and I'll do another one probably right here or so. Another one here, maybe something like that. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Trying to make it somewhat symmetrical, and then that's where we'll run a tube through to the other plate that's going to be on the back side. We're going to connect them with tubes, and the cool thing is once you drill this out through the frame, they'll be hollow, so you'll actually be able to see through it, but it's stronger than just boxing it in. You know, it'll have a tube inside of it too, so it's another axis of strength that you're putting inside of it. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of measure out where I want this thing to sit, kind of measure these out, do some final measurements, and come back on my last thoughts and actually get this thing cut out on a table. Okay. All right. So there's the actual template. These are, like I said, I took the Teflon. That's a 2-inch hole right here. And I just put one there. You would probably put one here and here as well. However, we're gonna put a logo there, kind of something like that. I'll explain the whole 909 deal later. As you guys probably know, I just recently hit 50K. So there is gonna be a video coming out about everything that we're doing. And hopefully some logos and branding soon. So stay tuned for that. That's a really big thing I want to point out. But yeah, bottom of the frame, everything's all sketched out. We just got to raise this little corner up 1 inch. This piece is fine. And then same with this one, we got to raise this up 3/4 of an inch, but this corner here is fine. So we're pretty much just going to pivot this up a little bit. And then just cut the bottom here. And we should have a pretty good piece, and this will work on both sides. It'll sit perfectly flush with the frame, and I can weld around the whole thing. So, and like I said, I'll have tubes coming through this. So you'll see a weld here to a tube, and it'll go all the way through the frame. So it'll be pretty cool. All right, but anyways, pretty tired. Did a lot today. Got a lot done. I like the measurements that are there. Everything seems to fit really well. So I should be able to take this. We'll put it back in the computer with at HRT with Brandon. We'll go ahead and kind of sketch it out a little bit different. Just all the modifications I just made. So I know it'll fit perfectly flush with the frame. And I'll go ahead and we'll actually make it out of 3/16. You notice that metal is kind of thin. It is just a template. So we'll make it out of actually 3/16 or 1/8 inch steel. Put those holes in it and actually get the pipe and get every little bit that we can actually weld together. Make our own kit really. So we're gonna kind of dimension everything out. I'm gonna build it on SolidWorks tonight. That is a CAD file that I know how to use. So if you guys are engineers, you kind of know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna sketch it up on CAD, make a 3D model of it, bring it in tomorrow. We should be able to get this thing done. So I'm gonna catch up with you guys when we're back at HRT, get this thing cut out. Haters gonna hate. All right, we're back at HRT, and I got my glasses on. I'm ready to do some cutting, and we're gonna cut out the tabs. So pretty much, I can't see anything, but this is the piece. And as I think I showed you guys yesterday, we cut off the bottom and we add a little bit to the top, and then we made a drawing on it. And I'm filming this on 23 frames a second. Sorry, I just realized that. So there, you can see we're getting it cut out on the table. It's we'll actually show you once it cuts out, but so yeah, just kind of adjusting the table to make sure it cuts out in the right spot. And then we're gonna get some new box and end plates made.
I found your glasses for your big ass head.
Those are freaking, oh.
Put a big old piece of blue tape right here.
Yeah, there you go. Ready to rock and roll. You guys thought it was just for the intro. I'm wearing these. All right, so you can see there's the tabs, or not tabs, these are the actual plates are all done. Looks like it came out pretty good. It's pretty fancy. All right, so here's the old, this is our template. Here's our new one. So as you can see, it's a little bit shallower on the bottom, and then a little bit higher on the top. So if I put this over this one, bam, look at that. So it comes up a little bit further on this corner, just so it's a little bit more level with the frame. And then it's perfect line right on the bottom of the frame. You can see bottom of frame, and it's perfect line right there. That ain't bad though, looks pretty cool. Pretty fancy. I mean, I could just stand on the side as always.
Yeah, that's what both of them.
Yeah, I haven't really shown this yet. So this is your guys' Pro Light. Strapped to it. Hey, you're on fire! I know you're on fire.
Burning some header wrap.
So in case you're wondering, that's what a Pro Light does, except on a dirt track. Pretty casual.
I don't know, you pointed here, so I don't know if you're getting donuts right here.
I don't know, I guess we'll find out. Okay, here's your off-roading content, you guys. It's so casual. So casual. Just the usual. I can do that in my truck. You think?
It stepped out pretty good right there.
Yeah, I was very impressed with that. All right, this is one of my friend Carter's truck. This thing is freaking sweet. That is a Mustang 2 and an axle flip. See, the black roof looks sick. Alright guys, so I'm back at home with my truck. I wanted to split this video up in two separate videos, mainly for the reason being that it's a lot of in-depth stuff of actually applying it to the frame and fabricating it in, that it would be a 35, 45 plus minute video if I actually, you know, left everything in. So I thought it'd be better, more efficient to split it up so you guys aren't sitting in front of you know, your computer for 45 minutes watching a video of mine. But I did want to give a massive shout out to Brandon at HRT for cutting out the plates for me. I brought him dimensions, he put them up in his computer, cut them out on the plasma table, and they fit perfectly the first time. So big thank you to him. And in the next video, we'll cover all the dimensions and how I measured everything a little bit more in depth, and actually how to cut the plates out and stuff like that. You know, you don't need a plasma cutter. It makes it a lot easier. But if you have the dimensions, there's somebody in your town or area that can cut them out for you, and it'll be a lot easier and nicer and a little bit easier to work with, and everything's nice and straight. So keep that in mind if you're looking to do something like this. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Look forward to the next video where we're actually applying this and getting it cut out on the frame. It's really, really cool. I've actually finished it already and it looks super cool. Can't wait to share it with you guys. I left a couple sneak peeks on my Instagram. If you do not follow my Instagram already, follow it at @thecraig909. I post stuff like this all the time. So I actually posted a picture of it done. So if you guys don't follow my Instagram, you miss out on stuff like that. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.